vai rebolando, o tamborzão. Vai rebolando, o tamborzão.
Hey, you guys. Okay,
What's
so we have Vic
A meat eater.
and me, the vegan, and we want to have a little friendly debate with you guys.
Yeah.
So in the last video, Vic had brought up a really interesting point. That's something that I've actually thought a lot about, which is the way food and culture and tradition are all tied in together, and how sometimes people feel a lot of resistance towards the idea of veganism or eliminating animal products because of what that food has symbolized in their culture and the traditions that are built around these foods and everything. Like, it's almost like it's a part of the identity, and it's like almost like losing a part of the identity to not participate in eating these foods.
Yeah, I mean, the Hispanic culture is very unforgiving. You know, if you're gay, if you're vegan, I mean, it could be anything, yo. We're very tied to gender norms and like social norms, and that's just a thing of like the Hispanic culture, yo.
Yeah.
You know.
But do you think that? Okay, so is that something that you accept, like that's just the way it is, or is it something that you feel like you would like to see change?
There's nothing I can do to change it. Like, I just got to be true to myself. Like,
Yeah.
you know, even though I do hear these things at like family get-togethers or reunions or whatever, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, at the end of the day, you know, whatever anyone says about you is a reflection of them,
Right.
not you. Like, people talk shit about you, that's a reflection of them, you know, yada yada yada. But like, for me, I still want to like be able to bond with some of my family over, you know, taco or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where debate comes in.
Okay, sure.
And keep in mind, nothing I say is personal
course,
against
never.
you. Okay. So there's a woman who I love to watch, Ravana, on
Okay.
YouTube, and she has a huge Latina following. And her whole thing is that she feels as though a lot of that culture has a lot of unhealthy dietary habits.
Oh.
And so
yeah.
for her, she sees herself as like a vegan pioneer for that culture,
For the Hispanic
because
culture.
she wants to bring health to these traditions and everything.
Yeah.
For her, it's like, I was watching something that she said. I'm not quoting her, but the idea that I got from the video was basically just that, like, don't care about bonding with someone over a culturally what's the more loving thing? Is the more loving thing to have a bonding moment over tacos, or is the more loving thing to be like, you know what, this is ruining your health right now, like let's bond over horchata, rice milk or some shit, you know? Or like, like, do we have to bond over something that's gonna harm us?
See, okay, so internally I've had this exact same debate, because I would like to change the eating habits of my whole family, because who wouldn't want to see their whole family alive as long as they can, right?
Right.
But the thing is, Alana, I can only change what's within myself. Like,
Yeah.
I can change my mom's diet because we live in the same household, and in the mornings I make really healthy shakes: kale, blueberries, strawberries, bananas, peanut butter.
Yeah.
You know, chia seeds, maca root powder, cacao
Yeah, it's
powder.
beautiful.
Like,
It's
amazing
great.
shakes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's re-energized her. She doesn't need coffee anymore. I've cut down on rice. White rice is a huge thing with Hispanic people. We eat white rice with any meat.
I don't think white rice is bad for you. I eat a shit ton of white rice.
Well, I mean, if you eat too much of it, you know, tortillas, you know, doctors say, like, as you get older, your stomach can't handle that stuff anymore.
Okay.
So, like, yeah, it's not bad for us, but, like, for her, she's 49 almost.
Okay.
And, you know, I just know, like, yo, mom, like, you can't be eating like you were eating, like, 10 years ago, you know?
But I'm saying, like, I'm not, like, saying that you have to change their habits, but do you have, like...
Introduce them to new ones?
Yeah, or something like that. Or it's like, or even not, like, do you have to bond over eating tacos? Like, can you, if they eat a taco, do you have to eat a taco? Like, could you eat something else while they eat a taco?
That was just, like, one example,
Yeah.
but another example would be, like, for example, uncle, he makes really good osobuco. And like whenever he's making it, I go in the kitchen and help him out and stuff like that. And I like taste it and stuff like that. So that's just like one thing. I like enjoying his osobuco. I've been doing that since I was like little. You know, so it's just like one of those things I don't want to give up. It's not, and that's true to myself. Like, I'm not just, oh, I'm eating this to appease him. I really like it because he makes it with a lot of love, and I taste it. But again, like if I decided to not eat meat and stuff like that, and that's something I wanted to do, for sure, like I wouldn't do it, and I'm sure he'd support me and love me no matter what, you know.
Okay. Gotcha.
But like trying, like for example, I'm just like, oh, you guys can like eat a little healthier, but like they don't make as much money, you know.
But being vegan's not expensive.
I mean,
you saw that grocery haul I got for $25. I got all that shit that's gonna last me for like 2 weeks.
That is very true. But like to take someone who's been having this diet for 30-something, 40-something years since they've been alive. Like, and then tell them one day, like, hey, you need to eat vegan, or something. Or like,
I'm not
saying, you
saying,
need to eat vegan, but like, hey, try this other thing. And then I've tried it. It hasn't gone too well.
I'm not saying that you have to tell other people what to do. I'm saying, do you want, like, the thing about I've noticed about like Ravan or like Fully Raw Christina, these Hispanic women, you know, who are trying to set examples for their families and everything. They don't ever like expect them to eat what they're eating. They just are the example. By living it.
Well, they have been like, wow, mijo, like you've lost so much weight, like you look thinner and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, I changed my diet, and you know, but that's it, you know. And you have to read between the lines. The reason why they're not asking me about what I'm buying is because they can't afford to eat what I eat. I go to Mariano's.
But I don't know what you mean. They can't afford to eat what you eat because it's not expensive to eat healthy.
Well, I guess
dried beans. You can get a bag of dried beans for $1.50. That'll last you for like a week and a half.
They do eat stuff like that. You know? But really, what I've been trying to do is get to their kids, like my aunt and uncles, like my nieces and nephews, and cousins. So they're younger, and they're the ones that I'm like, yo, you guys have to start like learning how to eat healthier and putting your parents on. Like I literally sit them, like we're all at these family get-togethers, and I'm like, yo, guys, there's like, you know, healthier stuff we should be eating, and like our parents are getting older, they can't eat the stuff that we normally we grew up eating, you know. And they're mostly either graduated from college recently or in college or in high school, so they kind of are more aware of like stuff. They're a little conscious and stuff like that. And I know it's gonna take them, because I'm not with them every day, right? It's them that are with their parents every day. That's who I'm trying to target.
No, I mean, it's good. I mean, I don't even necessarily, I'm not saying you should target anyone, you know.
I want to, though.
If you want to, then but I feel like, so I guess, taking it more out of the culture and just into straight up just veganism as a whole. You are more interested, do you think it's fair to say that you're more interested in the health aspects of it than the ethical aspects of it? Okay, so let's talk about that.
Well, what are the ethical aspects of veganism?
I mean, everyone will have something different to say. For myself, personally, I just don't think that it's right to take the life of an animal for food unless you are in a situation where you need to do it to survive. And that's it.
Well, because I have heard the arguments of like, oh, meat is murder, but I mean, on some levels, like we've had this discussion, like no matter what you're doing, there's a cost of life.
But I do think that meat is murder.
Well, I mean, but so is veganism.
But it's
just
less
to
murder. It's less murder.
Lesser degree.
So it's like, why not pick the lesser of two evils?
I don't like that argument. I really don't like that argument, because the same argument was being used during the political debates. Like, oh, Hillary and Trump, pick the lesser.
But actually, you know what though? Okay, let me put it this way. So if you have,
I think you should just eliminate that. I think if you eliminate the the cost of life.
But I do think that meat is murder. I do believe that. Like, I do believe that with my whole heart.
There are so many instances of animals being mistreated to make the food that you see in your plate. I do agree with you on that. Like, there's so many videos of just like farms of chickens being put in cages and literally being fed, force fed, like, that is fucking unethical.
But that's the majority of the meat industry. That's what we eat,
right? Exactly. But to say that, like, okay, pick the lesser of two evils.
You're right. Let's not.
I don't.
Yeah, you know what? That was a bad argument. Lesser of two evils. I just think that when you're eating vegan, you're saving the lives of a shit ton of animals, more so than you would be by eating meat.
I agree with that.
So why not do that?
Well, I mean, I've cut down my meat consumption like by a lot. But I mean, if I didn't have you as a friend who would have opened my eyes up to those things, because like constantly hanging out with you and being like we have meals together, we share meals, and when I go over to her house, she cooks like vegan meals.
Takes a lot of work, you guys. We put in the work, we put in the time.
And it's amazing. Like, she makes these amazing sandwiches. Like, last week we had ciabatta bread with veganese, which is vegan mayo. Yeah. And she sauteed like, what did you saute?
Like mushrooms, peppers, onion.
And no oils and no salt. And I'm like, how the fuck did you make this amazing sandwich? And I'm just constantly being like put on to cool things like that by just hanging out with you.
Right.
But the thing is, the rest of my family aren't hanging out with vegetarians or vegans. You know what I'm saying?
No, but yeah, for sure.
It's exposure. Like, if I had never been exposed to your lifestyle and it rubbed off on me, man, who knows where I'd be at now, I
agree. It's exposure. Like, I wasn't exposed to it either until I happened to, like, stumble on some YouTube videos. I wasn't even, like, looking up veganism on YouTube. I wasn't seeking it out. I was just, like, there's guy Tim Sheaf I used to watch his parkour videos because he was fucking amazing parkour videos, and I was so into that, and, like, and I just wanted, and, like, I just noticed that, like, his flow was just amazing, so I naturally started watching some interviews that he was doing, and I saw some other videos of just like, like what I eat in a day, or like why I went vegan, and I was like, vegan, like that's kind of weird, because I had been a vegetarian my whole life, and for me, I was under the belief that it was impossible to get enough protein as a vegan. And, when I was vegetarian, I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm getting my protein from eggs. I'm getting my protein from cheese and all this shit. And so I'd be like, I'm good. But then I watched this guy, Tim Sheaf, and I was like, holy shit, like, he's a professional athlete. Yeah. And he's a vegan. Obviously, he's doing something right. He's getting enough protein. Like, so I was like, okay, like, is he taking, like, protein shakes, or like is he taking a supplement, or like how is he able to do what he does on that kind of diet? And so that led me down this other rabbit hole of just like the myth about protein. You don't need that much protein. You really don't. And the myth, unless you're protein deficient. Yeah. And the myth that plants don't have protein. This guy was getting all of his protein from straight up plants. He wasn't using protein powders or any of this other shit. He was using just straight up fruits and vegetables, and it was working for him. You could see it on him. Like, he had a fucking, like, he's built. Like, he's so built. Much protein. Yeah. And so that completely opened my eyes. But you're right, it's the exposure. Yeah. It was only because I was exposed to those videos. Had I not been, I don't know if I would have ever sought it out. But to me, for me, it was one of those things where I was like, okay, like this is something I should try out for health. But for me, health wasn't, like, as big of a reason as the ethical. Because once I saw this documentary called Earthlings, which I highly recommend that you all do. It shows the reality of slaughterhouses. Right. After I saw that, I went vegan overnight. I was like, fuck this. And I wasn't even eating meat. I already wasn't eating meat, but they showed the egg industry. They showed what happens to,
It's really fucked.
like, people,
The male chicks, they get put in like these grinders because they can't make eggs.
because they can't make eggs or they're not valuable.
Right.
And then the chickens that do lay the eggs, even when they say cage free, it doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean shit. So there's no
Yeah.
cages, but they're still all stuffed in and crammed into this tiny little room. There's
Like
just
in a
no
pen.
cages.
Or there's probably like a pen. Like unless you have chickens in your backyard,
You'll never
and, like,
know.
You feed them and you let them roam, like have a good life. You'll never fucking know where your food is coming from.
You'll never
unless
know.
you grew that cow and you fed it and you loved it and you sang to it and like brushed
Read
its
its stories.
like brushed its like
Celebrated birthdays.
yeah. And then finally one day you had to kill Bertha and eat her. Like you're never gonna know where your meat came from.
And it's so, but that like to like for me, like after seeing that video is what flipped that switch on me. I'm like, okay, fuck it, I'm done with all of it. And then I would go to India afterwards, and in India my family's not vegan, they're vegetarian, so they'd be putting cream in all of the dishes, and they'd be putting like the paneer cheese in all of the dishes, and they'd be like putting like they have like amazing butter there. It tastes fucking amazing. It's made out of buffalo milk. It's like so rich and so creamy.
Ooh.
But I stopped
Damn.
doing it. And it was a thing, because that culture.
Wait, but wouldn't it be more ethical in India?
I just don't think it's ethical to
You just
take
can't
another
trust it.
species' milk. I don't think it's ethical to take
okay.
another species' milk. It's meant for that baby.
Mm.
It's meant for, like, the cow's milk is meant for the calf. It's not meant
Yeah.
for you, Or the buffalo's milk is meant for the baby, not for you. Like, even in the dairy industry, what happens, like, the cow's milk is meant for their calf. But what happens is that the calf gets sold to the veal industry.
Yeah.
So then then the mom has all this excess milk, which is what we get in our fucking milk cartons. And it's a terrible psychological separation that happens when you separate the mom from the baby like that. Like, to me, I just don't think it's right to own animals. I just don't think it's right to
Yeah, I've cut down on my dairy consumption for sure. And again, it was just more of a health thing.
Yeah.
But the ethical reasons are just like an added bonus for me.
Yeah. And
Whereas for you, it's reverse. It's like you're doing it for the ethical reasons, and the health reasons are just kind of like a plus. Like.
And the thing is that you could be an unhealthy vegan. You could be a very unhealthy vegan if you're eating all the junk products,
Like what?
Like if you're only eating soy meats and soy cheeses and like if you're only eating a junk food vegan diet, all processed shit, like it doesn't matter if you're vegan or vegetarian. If you're eating processed garbage, you're still not going to feel good.
Yeah.
You have to be eating fucking fruits and vegetables. Don't eat, like, if it comes in a box, limit that thing. Don't try to limit like what you eat out of a box.
The lean cuisines are, oh my god, I can't tell you how many lean cuisines I've seen in my couple years working in a corporate climate. It's not lean. And it's not cuisine.
It's not cuisine.
It's not gonna help. It's so bad for you. It is really, really bad for you. Spend that couple of minutes making a fresh salad. If you want, grill up a chicken breast if that's what you feel like you need to. You have meat.
I would say don't grill up a chicken breast.
Well, for us meat eaters, it's just like us.
So let me ask you. So what keeps you still wanting to eat meat?
I like it. I like meat. I like eating buffalo wings. I like, but like I said, I limit that way drastic. Like pizza, I'll eat it maybe.
But I mean,
once
if
every
there are like vegan options for those types of foods that taste exactly the same, would you eat that, or would you still stick with real meat?
Vegan options for buffalo wings?
Yeah.
Well,
if it tasted
they
exactly
don't have
the same.
it at the. So, like for example, Buffalo Joe's in Evanston. Shout out Buffalo Joe. I love their wings. Like so, I mean, I had it for the first time in like months. Last Sunday. And even though I did, like, my belly was a little upset, I was just, like, worth it, because I love those wings.
Yeah, but I'm saying if there was a vegan option that tasted like that, would you pick that? How come?
Probably not.
How come?
Because it's not the same. Is
that what you're
I don't
going to
think
choose to value? Like,
I don't think that's a good example, because, like...
What do you mean?
Buffalo Joe is not gonna make vegan wings.
No, I'm saying if there's another restaurant that makes vegan wings that tastes the same, why not do that?
I mean,
Like, are you choosing, like I'm trying to figure out what you're prioritizing.
Yeah, but like that's I don't like hypotheticals like that because that's not what is.
But there are restaurants in Chicago who
that
do
taste
make.
exactly.
I don't know how Buffalo Joe's wings taste, but there's.
Oh, it's just more about taste too. It's the texture. It's like the.
But have you tried vegan options like that?
I have tried vegan options.
Have you? Okay.
I have tried. Like.
But why are you choosing to value your taste buds over like the footage that you've seen of these chickens being stuffed with shit and everything?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
'Cause that's just me. That's just who I like enjoying that every now and then.
Don't you think that's kind of a cop out? Like, do you
Well,
think
to
that that's an
put-
excuse to not grow or excuse to not mature?
I mean, anything could be used as like, why don't you stop drinking? Why don't you stop doing this? Right? Well, maybe.
But there's no ethical aspect involved in those things.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I like doing it. I'm not gonna deprive myself of that.
Why
But
do you
I
see
do
it
limit
as,
it.
I know, but I'm saying, like, why is it an important experience for you when you know what has had to happen in order for you to have that meal?
I like it. That's the only.
I see that as like cognitive dissonance or whatever that's called.
But how? How is it? If I enjoy it and I don't want to deprive myself of it.
I think that's selfish.
It is selfish,
Yeah.
but I'm not saying I'm not.
I think that's a cop out, honestly. To me, it's like I could say I really like H&M's clothing. I fucking love H&M's clothing.
Okay.
But I know that they use slave labor to make their clothes.
Okay.
So if I go into that store and see a shirt that I love for a cheap price,
Mm-hmm.
I could choose to buy it because I like it. Fuck those kids who made the clothes. Fuck them. Like, I like this shirt. I like what I like,
shit.
so I'm gonna wear it.
Oh my god, okay.
How is that any different?
I mean, it's not, but I'm
Yeah.
not saying I don't buy Nikes. I'm wearing Nikes right now.
Mm.
And God knows how many tiny hands I have to stitch these things together.
So that's kind of where I'm getting. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm trying to get with this, is that we are on the side of the world that lives in privilege.
Oh, for sure.
Our money is the only thing that keeps injustices like this and companies like this in business. If we recognize that, don't we have a responsibility to put our money towards ethical practices if that's where we want to see the world go?
I think so, yeah. But that's not something I advocate. Like that. I mean, I'm not saying like it's bad for you to do those things. It's just not something I do actively. Is what I should say.
Yeah.
I just don't actively do it, right? I try to, but at the same time, I don't. If I feel like I need to eat Buffalo Joe's, I'm gonna go eat Buffalo Joe's. Like if I hadn't had it in like months or whatever, if I want those pair of Nikes, I'm gonna buy it.
Hey guys, we're closing.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
We gotta get another minute.
But this is getting good.
Yeah.
I think we need to do a part 3 maybe. I don't even know.
Yeah. We should get out of the
Okay.
library and keep filming.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us for this debate.
Yes.
We're gonna continue
continue.
on. Stay tuned.
Okay.
All right. Where are we right now, Vic?
I actually don't know. You just took me to some vegan place.
We are at Kitchen 17. Get a load of our veggie burgers.
Veggie milkshake. What's up?
Veggie milkshake.
Get my vegan on.
Eu dou na hora, agora já vou dar de volta com a cara. Ela se mexe, rebola, me bate com a bunda dela, igual chiclete. Nossa, gostosa como a Nugala, me dá de volta, vai. Volta todos os dias, como no seu trabalho, cavaleiro. Eu sou o seu cavalo, vai. Primeiro me abraça e beija minha careca. Essa noite você vai ser minha boneca. Vamos fazer.